noches desde el estadio Atanasio Girardot en Medellín, en Colombia. Hoy se cierra la primera fase de esta Copa América. Quedan perfilados después de los encuentros que se van a jugar hoy, los emparejamientos de cuartos de final. Está todo por decidir en cuanto a posiciones en este grupo C, donde están Costa Rica y Bolivia, que son los equipos que se van a enfrentar a continuación, y después Uruguay y Honduras, aunque en principio costarricenses y uruguayos ya están clasificados, pero nos queda decidir todavía quién puede ser el mejor, uno de los
pre-tournament turmoil. Those who have turned up in the absence of Argentina have witnessed some really terrific football. Paulo Wanchop's mesmerising goal the other night transfixed Uruguay's defenders. They could only watch in awe as the lanky striker from Manchester City stumbled his way towards goal. Probably the goal of the tournament so far. And Gerry, for me, it brought back memories of a goal by a South American against the main road club 20 years ago. I'm talking about Ricky Villa for Tottenham in the FA Cup final.
Well, I mean, I think Ricky's was probably a more talked about goal because it wasn't in an FA Cup final, but the quality that Paulo Wanchop showed when he scored the goal, I'm trying to remember, is it 5, 6, 7 players he must have beaten, and showed tremendous strength and balance as well. Those are the qualities that he's got. On his day, he's a real handful, and he's been superb in this competition so far. He's the main threat, I think, for the Bolivian defence tonight. Certainly Jaguchi and Raldez and Carvalho are going to have their hands full trying to keep Paulo Wanchop and Rolando Fonseca quiet.
Well, to finish top of the group is going to be quite important for Costa Rica. First place in the group would pit them against the best third place team in the tournament rather than facing Brazil.
Nobody wants to face Brazil. I saw them last night, Steve, and I say they showed tremendous quality. You know, going 1-0 down against a dodgy penalty, the referee wasn't giving them too many decisions, but they stood up, went down to 10 men when they should have been in front in the game, still losing 1-0, down to 10 men, stuck to their guns, showed great confidence and belief in themselves for a country that's just gone through a bad spell, and I think they come out of it really strong. 2 fantastic goals. The goal from Alex was superb, and the second goal as well was a great goal. But they're one of the favourites now for me. Brazil have the players, but Colombia are still the team they've all got to beat.
Well, here's the Costa Rican coach, a man from Brazil who's given Costa Rica a fair degree of Brazilian style and flair. Costa Rica in the red shirts and blue shorts, Bolivia in the white and green tonight. And the final place is at stake in the quarterfinals of Copa America 2001. Saw the mountain ranges in the background just a moment or two ago, the Central and Occidental ranges. Medellin, the main city in the coffee growing area of Colombia. It's about 430 kilometers northwest of Bogota. It's also 1,600 meters above sea level, and I guess that should suit Bolivia.
I would think so, but I mean, I've just been so disappointed. I think they've been negative from the opening game. They've not shown any attitude and determination to try and be positive and get into the opposition defences. And again, they have a carrot dangled in front of them. If they can win tonight, Steve, and win well, then there's a possibility they could qualify, but I just doubt it very much. I think Costa Rica will be too strong for them tonight.
Well, this is the first ever meeting between Bolivia and Costa Rica. Bolivia playing their football as part of the South American Football Confederation, and Costa Rica in the Central African zone. Arias, the Bolivian goalkeeper, well, he could well do with a shot out tonight, but Bolivia have to be more positive, and they have to get past this man. Costa Rica's third choice keeper, Gonzalez. Bolivia need goals. Temperature around 23 degrees in Medellin. It's clouded over a little bit through the course of the afternoon. Pitch is a little bit patchy, I have to say. Really important for Bolivia to get off to a good start. Costa Rica immediately looking for the likes of Paulo Wanchop in attack. In terms of world rankings, the new world rankings out the other day, and Costa Rica have been one of the highest climbers. They've gone up to number 33 in the world from 46. That's a sign, Gerry, of how much they've improved in the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And the point I was making about the result away to Honduras, sides you're playing with confidence don't mind going away from home, and because they're confident they can go and win anywhere. And Honduras have shown, Costa Rica have shown in this competition that they're a good side. On their day, they could beat anybody. Maybe surprised a lot of people in England, but not for us. We've been watching them several times over the last 12 months, and I've noted how well they have improved.
Well, it's noticeable as well that for Costa Rica, Drummond has slotted in as the third of the centre-backs. This is Gutierrez for Bolivia. He was a runner-up in the Copa America back in 1997 when it was held in Bolivia. He actually had a terrific record when it's been played on home soil. Bolivia, in fact, the first time they hosted a tournament back in 1963 were the tournament winners, beating Paraguay in the final 4 years ago. When it was next held in Bolivia, they got to the final again but lost to Brazil.
I think that's why Colombia were so desperate for the competition to be held here for the first time in Colombia. It does give them an advantage. The home support certainly will lift them, but I just feel that they've also played with a lot of confidence. They're the only side that haven't conceded a goal in the competition. They've got the best defensive record. They look well organised, and up front they can score goals.
Gutierrez plays his football in Uruguay with the Nacional club, and he's a big threat going forward for Bolivia. Again, they've got to commit to attack early on here. Can't bear in mind what Honduras and Uruguay might do later. They simply have to go for it themselves. This is Valdivieso knocking it forward.
I think that just sums up what I've seen of Bolivia. You know, an opportunity's final third to put a decent ball into the box, and it was woeful. It was a terrible free kick from Valdivieso.
Important as well for Bolivia's defence to settle down early on. They've had a miserable tournament so far. It's as if Wallace playing on the right-hand side for Costa Rica, and he's dispossessed Bolivia this time. Jabbed in by Wanchop. Knocked on by Centeno. Free kick given in Costa Rica's favour. We've had so many red cards in this tournament so far. We've in fact had 14, and one more would set a new Copa America record. We could do without that tonight.
Yeah, but you've got to remember only 12 of those for players, Steve.
That's very true. You were watching Brazil last night. What on earth went on there?
Well, it's crazy because the referee was not the best, and Scolari told him so at half-time, and then during the second half, and he got sent off for it.
Cordero, one of those coming forward as Costa Rica drive it in towards goal. And Arias probably had his near post covered, but the first threat on goal provided by Costa Rica. And the number 11, Ronald Gomez.
It's a decent strike. He wasn't far past that near post.
Lots of early free kicks here as both sides settle into their routine. Valdivieso is very much the playmaker for Bolivia in central midfield. Oh. Suarez down once more. Referees have had a tough job in this tournament. One or two of the tackles have been allowed to go. Just watching Wanchop's goal the other night, Gerry, I was a little bit surprised in some ways he didn't go down, because there would have been a good claim for a penalty, perhaps.
I think that's playing in England. You know, he knows he's got to stay on his feet. In South America, they tend to want to go to ground when they're touched, but he showed fantastic strength and balance.
5 to aim at here, but a different routine for Bolivia. And it's well blocked by the Costa Rican defenders. Bolivia yet to score in this tournament so far. Gutierrez involved in the link-up here. And again. No free kick, says the referee. Diving. And Costa Rica able to bring it clear. Fonseca wide on the left, but the pass not good enough to reach him.
Yeah, it was Drummond's pass. It was woeful as well. And he had two players looking for it. Here's a chance.
Marin is the defender. Well done. And Drummond knocks it away.
Otero could have done better holding that one up in the penalty area, Steve, but a little bit scrappy at the start. Both teams, and as you said, the pitch is a little bit bubbly. Both teams still trying to come to terms with that, and also the changes that have been made on both sides. Oh, poor first touch.
Well, Colque is the number 4 for Bolivia. Plays for a team called the Strongest, who are one of the top teams, of course, in Bolivia. Well, apologies, we understand that you've lost pictures back home at the moment.
Apologies about that. Obviously, we're working as hard as we possibly can to restore the pictures from South America. We'll just get some thoughts on how the situation was developing there. Tony Cotti first up, with Costa Rica making so many changes for this game. What about the way they set about the task in the first 5 or 6 minutes that we did see there?
It was very much cat and mouse, wasn't it, the first 5 or 6 minutes. Everyone's settling down, trying to get on with their game and trying to get their formation sorted out, and it was a bit of a scrappy first 5 or 6 minutes, really, wasn't it?
Any signs for you that Bolivia were going to really go for it the way we know they have to in this game, given the fact they've lost the first 2?
Well, they pushed forward on a couple of occasions, but the final ball was very poor, and of course that's been their problem in the 2 games that we've seen so far, the final ball.
It's not going to be easy for them to settle when they've got so many changes coming into a game like this with confidence so low, is it?
No, of course not. It's not going to be easy for them to settle at all, and with so many changes it does make it difficult for both teams. Costa Rica, as we know, have already qualified, so it's going to be interesting to see how they progress with this game.
It was something you referred to, actually, Ray, Costa Rica, with the knowledge that they're going to go forward in the competition. Was there a possibility that they might take their foot off the pedal in this game a little bit?
Well, first 5 minutes or so, I don't think that'll happen. I think, you know, the game's just trying to settle down at the moment. Bolivia have been a little bit disappointed with it. They're looking at the formation. They haven't really gone after Costa Rica. You look at, they've only got 1 man up front at the moment. I'm a little bit surprised about that. I thought, you know, if they wanted to win the game, they would put maybe 2 forwards up there and try and get after Costa Rica.
But that does reflect the lack of confidence, surely.
Maybe they haven't got
given these performances that they've had.
Maybe they haven't got the personnel. You know, if you look at the squad, maybe they haven't got enough players there. And obviously with the quality, they haven't got the real quality, because when balls have come into the box in the previous 2 games, they haven't really took the chances.
Just one thing we didn't have time to touch on before kick-off there, Tony, and just to repeat, we're working on restoring the pictures from South America. Thank you for your patience while we do that. Just your thoughts on the 2 teams who'll play later, Uruguay and Honduras. Uruguay first. What sort of a result would be best for them? What are they looking for in this game, this first game?
Tornamos, ese es el estadio Atanasio Giraldot. Viene la salida ahora por parte de Luis Antonio Marín. De Marín entregando la pelota sobre el medio campo para Walter Centeno. Centeno larga el balón. Allá va Guanchop. Recorta el equipo boliviano. El marcador 0-0. La pelota ahora para Julio César Valdivieso. Levanta el balón ahora sobre el medio campo. Limber Gutiérrez rescata de atrás Luis Antonio Marín. De Marín ahora para Gerry. No es Harold Wallace. Wallace con Luis Antonio. Pasando la pelota. Robert Arias. Allá levanta la pelota el conjunto costarricense. El servicio para Rolando Fonseca. Fonseca que va al frente. Cuidado. En la selección de Costa Rica que imprime velocidad. Por intermedio Rolando Fonseca. Le cerraron el paso. Le quitan la pelota y limpiamente viene la salida. Ahora rápida de Luis Cati Ribeiro. Ojo, viene Rodrigo Cordero, en rampo metiendo el botín durísimo. Y tome tarjeta amarilla desde muy temprano, sacando la plancheta, el jugador Rodrigo Cordero.
A mí no le parece innecesaria, ¿verdad?, ese tipo de acción de Rodrigo Cordero, a quien ya le hemos llamado la atención, ¿verdad?, nosotros en nuestras transmisiones. Es un jugador con mucho coraje, con mucha garra, pero que se excede, ¿verdad? Esta es una acción en la que se excede verdaderamente Rodrigo Cordero. Estamos muy lejos de nuestra área, es un balón que no tiene que disputarse así. Y ya él mismo se pone en riesgo y pone en riesgo también al equipo.
La falta fue sobre Raúl Justiniano, que lo van a poner fuera de acción. La tarjeta amarilla entonces para Rodrigo Cordero. Él tiene fútbol, podría bajar su ansiedad, vea cómo vino con la plancheta. Peligroso.
Claro. No, y si vas a esa jugada, entonces vas, pero a la bola, ¿verdad? A la bola, no a más arriba. ¿Para qué? Es un partido que Costa Rica no debe complicarse por ninguna razón. Yo creo que el resultado se puede sacar.
Ahí está Marcelo Carballo levantando la pelota, cuidado, va al frente el equipo boliviano, el equipo del altiplano, juega en la altura, hay falta de este 18, no le gusta, Limber Gutiérrez, se revienta la pelota, Limber, en desaprobación de lo que el árbitro Luis Solórzano está indicando.
¿Por qué le pitan la falta, no?
En el toque ahora para Costa Rica, Harold Wallace emprende el viaje, cuidado, va Costa Rica al frente. I
understand we can restore our links with South America. Apologies, we don't yet have commentary back, but this is live. And let's hope we can enjoy uninterrupted coverage for the rest of this first half. I must say, in general terms, in this Copa America, the standard of television coverage we have been receiving has been first class, as has been the organisation in every respect in Colombia, and it was much talked about beforehand and many doubts raised about whether things would pass off, and by and large, until Tony and Ray showed up for work tonight, everything was going very sweetly, so thanks very much for that. So this is live, just to repeat, apologies, we wait to try to restore our link to our commentators. Ray, you can tell us how good a commentator you are. In fact, you do this, what am I talking for? Okay, more from Ray and from Tony later. Let's rejoin our commentators. Understand they're waiting to go again. Gerry and Steve.
Welcome back to Medellin. Apologies, we understand that you've lost pictures and sound momentarily, but it remains 0-0 between Bolivia and Costa Rica. Although Costa Rica did create one good chance with a cross from Wallace on the right, headed over by Fonseca. Berry going back to retrieve this one for Costa Rica, playing on the left side for them today in place of Castro. Cote in his first Copa America. And Bolivia managed to break that one up and feed it through midfield here. Possibilities ahead with Suarez just holding off the front man. That's neatly done by Carvalho, Higuchi, and the man who was playing on the right side for Costa Rica, Jervis Drummond, is playing in part of that back three tonight for Costa Rica. This is Cordero and Marin. And Drummond, who's been one of the most impressive players of the tournament for me so far, Gerry.
Looked very solid at the back, there's no doubt about that. I mean, they've looked a decent side. They really have been a good side, and with Wanchop and Fonseca up front, and here we go.
Looking for the early ball in, but Bolivia holding firm and knocking it clear for a Costa Rican corner.
Quite thought that Wanchop would have had to go himself there. It was a one-on-one situation. He looked to put the ball into the box, deep into the far post early, when I thought he could have went and had to go himself.
Well, he only had one to beat.
He's used to beating 6 or 7,
exactly, yeah. And a chance to get the ball into the danger zone here for Costa Rica. Bolivia's defence being well and truly tested. Good-looking pullback. And knocked away for a second corner for Costa Rica.
I think it's backs to the wall for Bolivia at the moment.
Costa Rica, of course, beat Honduras 1-0, then drew 1-1 with Uruguay. Both of the goals from Paulo Wanchop. They're not guaranteed a top 2 finish, but they do have 4 points already. They'll be in the quarter-finals. Down to finish at least as one of the best third-place teams, at the very least. Reminder that in Group A, Ecuador on 3 points, but in Group B, Peru have already got 4. So the teams in Group C really looking to do better than Ecuador in third place in Group A. Bolivia with a throw. By Colque. I wasn't too happy about that, Justiniano, the blooming captain. Being rude there, but he happens to play for Blooming.
I think he was upset by the Blooming tackle.
Ribeiro feeding it forward. Marin going across to cover for Costa Rica. And the ball given Costa Rica's way. Now here's that incident with Justiniano.
Well, it's handbags at 2 paces. It's nothing really, and he's just reacted. Justiniano has reacted to, I think, Ronald Gomez just touching the ball and his leg at the same time.
Costa Rica right on course to reach the World Cup finals next year. They top the CONCACAF group with 4 games to go. They're on 13 points along with the USA, and that's 5 points ahead of their nearest rivals. Still to play Trinidad and Tobago, the USA, Mexico and Jamaica. Here's Wanchop looking for Fonseca. He's such a tricky man to deal with, Paulo Wanchop. You never really know quite what to expect.
It's a fantastic turn initially, but then he just failed on the final pass, looking for Fonseca. And again, he was trying to be unselfish.
Cordero. He's coming in place of Solis in central midfield. Berry's cross. Too strong for Wanchop. And a goal kick for Bolivia.
Well, a little bit of a challenge on Centeno. After the ball was played, I've got to say, I think it was Jaguchi who just slightly caught him.
John's header picked up by Justiniano. Ribeiro. Exciting player down the right flank for Bolivia. Came through the ranks at under-23 and under-23 level. He's given his chance by the current Bolivian coach, Carlos Aragones. Still only 21. And there's back for Higuchi. Looking for Ribeiro once more. This is Marin for Costa Rica. A little bit careless that time. Colque intercepting. Gutierrez. Costa Rica pushing up.
I think that pass from Marin was telegraphed, and as you said, Percy Colque anticipated where the ball was going. Still playing that very defensive style, Bolivia. For me, Costa Rica having the majority of the play, and they're still not positive enough for me. There's only one striker playing up from them at the moment, Botero. And they really need to put a lot of pressure on this Costa Rican defence if they're going to score the goals they need to qualify, Steve. Mind you, they just like to score a goal,
They just like to score one, yeah. Possibilities here for Costa Rica. Paulo Wanchop in possession. And that time the mental telepathy wasn't quite there.
Fantastic first touch again and turn, though, I've got to say. And then he tried to feed Harold Wallace on this right-hand side, who was coming up in support.
There's been a Costa Rican criticism over the last couple of matches. Brian Marwood was feeling that they do tend to drop back and play quite deep at times. They didn't on that previous occasion. They pushed up well and were well organised. Here's Ribeiro once more. Needs some support. Suarez looking to provide it. Botero the only man in the middle at the moment for Bolivia. Got to find a way past Arias first. Costa Rica with plenty of bodies back defending in numbers that time. Valdez takes over for Bolivia. This is Colque. There's Wanchop, would you believe? Getting stuck in and playing himself out of trouble, and his team.
Super defending, big man, strong, good touch, uses his body well. Coming back and helping out the defence. And that's a foul on Harold Wallace.
Tell you, this guy's 35 years old.
He's a fit-looking 35-year-old, isn't he? Strong, and he gets forward on this right-hand side. But he's upended by Limber Gutierrez.
Immediately, Costa Rica putting Centeno and Gomez, the number 11, here over the ball, and potentially an in-swinging curler. Gomez striking it. Oh, and that wasn't far away.
Decent strike, Steve, with his left foot from Ronald Gomez. Have a look at this. Long way out. Never thought he could get that sort of power. It starts to dip, and it's only, what, a foot over the crossbar. I think much to the relief of Carlos Arias.
Well, the balls are that little bit lighter, and they do swing in the air a little bit more these days.
It certainly does. There's a lot of movement in it. You have to be careful. There's another Arias playing at the back there. He just made that last challenge. Robert Arias on the opposition for Costa Rica.
For Bolivia, the goalkeeper, Carlos Arias. Here comes Drummond. Neatly finding Wallace. There's Paulo Wanchop. They've had a good understanding between Wanchop and Wallace in the opening quarter of the match.
Certainly have. And he's very strong. He holds the ball up well. He's a good target man. They've put some good service in and had one or two good chances. Not really test the goalkeeper enough. I think the folks back home didn't see the initial header from Fonseca. It was a good cross from the right-hand side from Harold Wallace. Fonseca just got underneath it, Stephen, headed over the bar. But you know, Wanchop's been in there a couple of times in the box, and I fully expected him to go and have a go himself, but selfishly he's trying to bring other players into the game.
Guimarães, the Costa Rican coach, was very concerned about the three players on yellow cards, Paulo Wanchop being one of them. He was really determined to play. He is ineligible for their next World Cup qualifier against Trinidad and Tobago. And having come away from Manchester City at short notice to take part in the tournament, he's determined to play in absolutely every single game possible.
You can see why he's enjoying his football, and I think he knows that he's got an opportunity here maybe to do something, because they've never played in the Copa America before. It's history they're making here for Costa Rica. I think they want to impress.
Robert Arias, the number 12 for Costa Rica, forward for this Gomez corner. A chance from the other side.
I think that was a set play there, very well rehearsed set play. Great ball deep to the far post, and it was Austin Berry coming into the back stick who tried to put it back into the 6-yard box. It was deflected for a corner. I think they can cause a lot of problems to Bolivia from set plays. They've got good height, good strength. If the service is good, they're going to score goals.
All about the quality of the delivery. Again, they've got 5 waiting for it.
That was a kiss of death, Steve, wasn't it?
We've had that happen a few times in this tournament so far.
I think he was probably going for goal there.
And here, Justiniano is still an unhappy man by the looks of things.
Well, he's not a happy man at all, you're right.
I think that's still the spillover from that previous challenge. Gucci feeding it forward here for Bolivia. Valdez, youngest player in this Bolivian squad. Now Colque. Drummond snapping at the heels there, but it's well played by Bolivia, out to Colque once more. Wallace there defending though for Costa Rica. Between Wallace and Drummond, they do an effective job.
Very effective, and he does work back. There's a bad challenge. I think it's a yellow card. It is a yellow card, and guess who? Justiniano. And I think he's been just simmering for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Shows he's got a little bit of a short fuse. Dives in on Centino, and he gets the first yellow card of the game, Justiniano.
Well, it's been promised for some time, really. His behaviour in the last few minutes has suggested that something rash might happen, and there we go.
He didn't disappoint, did he?
Fonseca now for Costa Rica. Team known as the Ticos. Only their second appearance in Copa America, and here's Fonseca, upended just on the edge of the box. Play it out to continue, though. Wallace for Cordero now. Trying his luck from distance.
Certainly did. I don't think it was going to trouble the goalkeeper. And there's confirmation of Raul Justiniano. His yellow card. He's got to tread a very thin line now, otherwise he'll find himself the 15th player to be sent off in the Copa America.
Bolivia already with Alvarez, Valdivieso, Calustro and Gutierrez having picked up yellow cards. They had 2 sent off before. And here goes Paulo Wanchop. Well, a disappointing end to another promising move for Costa Rica, but we've already seen the danger that Paulo Wanchop provides. Suarez. Botero makes the run. And Manin just shielding the player from the ball.
Did it very well, got his body in. Just let him bounce off. These players do go to ground too easy for me. That was a smashing sweeping move though over the top, the one-touch play over the top for Paulo Wanchop. The angle unfortunately just started to disappear, Steve. Otherwise I think he would have had a crack himself.
Fonseca. It's out of play. Costa Rica came bottom of their group in 1997 in Bolivia. Lost to Brazil and Colombia before a draw with Mexico. I suppose when you look 4 years on at their progress, they're heading for the World Cup finals, but the other 3 from that group from 4 years ago, they're in real danger of missing out. Move started by Heraldez and Ribeiro, carried on by Gutierrez here for Bolivia. And a good shot, angled in the right way for Bolivia. They had Suarez keen to follow up.
Certainly did. Ribeiro pushing on. Oh, hold on. It's a strike and a half that from Ribeiro. Now the keeper's got to hang on to it, because if Gonzalez lets it loose, you can see they're coming in, looking for the bits and pieces. There are Roger Suarez.
Drawing for Costa Rica. Rodero seems to be playing as the deepest of the 3 midfield players for Costa Rica tonight. Fonseca. Certainly Wallace is well pushed up on that right-hand side. Centeno. Bolivian free kick quickly taken. Easily retrieved by Costa Rica. What can they do with the possession? Wanchop pulls away to the left-hand side. They've got Berry immediately providing the overlap. Wanchop tries to pick him out. And Heraldez, a wily character despite his age, knew exactly what Wanchop was going to do there.
It's nice to see that little bit of individual flair and skill and technique. And then the South Americans have always tried to do that, haven't they? It's just inbred into them.
Viezo is the man down, and Carlos Aragones is a man under pressure. We understand that the Bolivian Football Federation are apparently going to review his future after tonight. I don't know how much confidence that'll inspire.
Let's put him under even more pressure, as if he's not under enough as it is, but they've not impressed anybody in the competition so far. They haven't scored a goal.
Gutierrez going for goal.
That's one of the reasons why they haven't scored a goal. Their finishing's been very poor. They've got forward on the counter-attack in limited numbers in the 2 games that I've seen them, and I've got to say they have been disappointing.
Well, Bolivian football in general isn't in a very healthy state. The coach we saw just a moment ago, Aragones, he had to take a 50% pay cut earlier in the year. And how many 2 coaches would be keen on that?
Yeah.
I suppose some job is better than no job. Here's Suarez. Viezo and Ribeiro available for Bolivia on the right-hand side now. Berry, the defender, covering. Ribeiro going around the outside. Costa Rica holding strong at the back so far and pushing up and pressing on their opposite numbers. Colque. Suarez, Botero arriving in the middle as well. It's Botero's header. Quite a comfortable catch in the end for goalkeeper Gonzalez.
I think I'd have been disappointed if it had been beaten from there. Now here's Paulo Wanchop.
Who knows what he's going to do from here. He's got all the tricks of the trade, hasn't he, Paulo Wanchop? He's wonderful entertainment.
Certainly is. It was 1 against 3, and he was well and truly prepared to have a go. Early ball in, Suarez almost connecting. I think it's the best move from Bolivia. Super ball into the box, great ball in to the near post area, looking for Roger Suarez, and he just couldn't get contact on it.
Half an hour gone, 0-0, and another long-range effort. The goalkeeper spills it, but there's no one there to follow up that time. Gutierrez again is the man having the try.
That's a good effort again from distance. Ribeiro was the last one, and this one is Limburg. Gutierrez really does get hold of it. It bounces viciously in front of the goalkeeper, Ricardo Gonzalez, and he's happy to push it away.
Well, later on tonight, Group C is concluded in Medellin with Honduras against Uruguay. Honduras need a draw to join Uruguay in the quarter-finals. That'll give them a better record than Ecuador, the third-place team in Group A. Gomez, the man, down.
Good left foot has as well. Ronald Gomez strikes a good ball. We're going to see this shot again from Gutierrez, and look how it shoots off the surface. Almost took Ricardo Gonzalez by surprise. Now it's all about can Bolivia defend this next dead ball situation for Costa Rica.
Another set piece, another chance to throw the centre-backs forward. Arias, Marin, both up there along with the likes of Fonseca and Gomez. Carvalho just a jostling there with Gomez. And a glancing header, well, coming in from the player who was unmarked. Arias, the number 12.
I think this is a set play they've worked in training. He's pulled out of the 6-yard box, found some space, but Arias doesn't get any contact on it. He tries to put power on it. It's just a glancing header in the end.
Reminder that Bolivia, if they're going to stand any chance of qualifying, it is pretty slim. Let's not beat about the bush here. It's almost impossible, but they would have to win by 4 clear goals and then hope Honduras lose.
I'm giving you 250 to 1 at the moment, Steve.
That's pretty good odds, I think, Gerry. Mind you, Gutierrez has had a couple of long-range shots. Suarez nipping it at the near post. At least they're starting to provide a threat. This is Ribeiro. That's a lovely turn. Didn't have the finish to match. Valdivieso.
Well, it's a shame because the turn was superb. He got himself in a great position just outside the penalty area in the central position, and Valdivieso has got to do better than that. He's got to hit the target, and he knows it. Great chance. Might have been better just trying to bend one into one of the corners. Instead, he opted for power.
One of the few players for Bolivia who plays his club football abroad. He plays in Chile. He's currently being linked with a move to Olympique Marseille in France. And here Bolivia with another chance. Matero, Suarez, just too strong and well intercepted.
Well, it looks as if the goalkeeper caught him. I don't think it was Roger Suarez. I think here, as he comes across, you can see the goalkeeper coming out, clatters him, and I think Jagucci was hit. No, it's not Jagucci, it's Arias, Robert Arias, who was hit by his own goalkeeper.
I think he gets a left elbow in the face off his goalkeeper there, Gerry.
Yeah, his momentum's just carrying him through. He can't stop the keeper coming out, Ricardo Gonzalez, and stretchers out.
It was a terrific interception.
Superb, he had to get there. As I said, Roger Suarez was just ready to pounce. Some good play from Bolivia in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Created 1 or 2 opportunities. Started to look a little bit positive, which is not Bolivian-like, is it? They've been very negative so far throughout the competition, but there's no point in sitting back. They can throw caution to the wind. They've got to have a go, and they certainly need to score the opening goal.
Well, Valdivieso, who had that shot just a moment or 2 ago, being linked with a move to France. How do you think this particular South American would do in Europe?
Well, they've all got good skill and technique. There's 1 or 2 of them. You mentioned earlier there that there's 1 or 2 of them have played abroad. I know Limburg Gutierrez plays for Nacional in Uruguay, and there's no reason why Valdivieso couldn't go and do a decent job in France. Certainly his technique and skill would be greatly appreciated over there.
You can see the little buggy with the stretcher, with the treatment still being administered to Arias just behind the goal line there. Meantime, Bolivia press on in search of an opening goal that they desperately need. And now back to full strength Costa Rica, but Colque's gone down for Bolivia now. Don't take the drug away, folks.
They didn't have to go too far, the truck, did they? There's a little nutmeg from Suarez. Didn't actually see what happened to Colque.
He's running off the ball, actually. Suarez has been perhaps one of the notable features in the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, he has got good pace, you're right. His movement's good and his pace is good. And this is what's happened here. Well, it was just a follow-through as he goes to ground. Percy Colque, you can see there's a follow-through which catches him in the thigh. I'm sure he'll make a recovery from that.
Challenge from Cordero. Suarez scored 5 goals in his first 11 internationals for Bolivia. They could desperately do with this man's firepower right now.
Oh, that's criminal. Taking the throw.
Careless to say the least, wasn't it?
That's the second time I've seen it in the competition, but it should never happen.
It wasn't the initial throw. You can't be offside from the throw, but he was offside from the return.
Absolutely.
Now Wallace for Costa Rica. Drummond ominously makes his way up the outside here. And here is the defender. Poor first touch. Nearly got away with it.
Well, I think they both injured each other shin to shin. I think his first touch, as you said, was very poor, but he's gone for the 50-50, and Jervis Drummond was caught. There it is. What's the referee saying? I think he's booking him.
How's your Spanish? Pretty good, isn't it? Yeah. So I gather.
Yeah, I think he's booking him. I thought it was a 50-50 ball. It looked as if they were both committed to going for the ball.
And again, this is another chance for Gomez. And Centeno for Costa Rica. One chop. Makes his way into the middle. Iguchi is the second Bolivian player to be yellow carded along with Justiniano.
I thought it was a wee bit harsh, Steve. I thought he tried to play the ball.
Five for Centeno to aim at. Just behind Fonseca.
I think it's a part of the game where we say we need a goal, and a lot of cut and thrust. Bolivia on the counter-attack, 2 or 3 good chances, forcing saves from Ricardo Gonzalez, but I think we need a goal now. Costa Rica had the majority of the possession. Here they come again.
And inevitably, through Paulo Wanchop, he's the outlet for them. But Bolivia have had some half chances too, and that'll encourage the coach at least that they are creating something. And here's Ribeiro now. Botero and Suarez waiting in the middle. This is Suarez, first time. Chance here for Bolivia, smothered by Drummond.
That was good play, smashing play, good ball deep to the far post. The knockdown was good. The strike at goal was on target, but you've got to say, smashing defending from Drummond.
That's why the challenge there on Fonseca. Bolivia with another player down injured here. It's a very stop-start period of the match.
Yeah, I think it's Colque again. I think it's Percy Colque who's gone down once again.
You're absolutely right, Gerry. His second injury in quick succession. I wonder whether he's just aggravated the same thing here.
Could be right. He might not have totally recovered from that last challenge. It is. It's the same leg. He's feeling that thigh. Either that or he fancies one of the stretcher bearers, Steve. It's one or the other.
Well, he plays for a club called The Strongest, so he's not exactly living up to billing so far.
He could be the weakest link.
We're about to say goodbye. But he scored a goal actually in a thrilling World Cup qualifier they had against Argentina, 3-3, and they were 3-1 up late on in that game. This man desperately needed some good results, and well, that one was so nearly one of the big upsets in World Cup qualifying.
Well, not the only one down injured. There's an epidemic of it going on, and as Colke's being shipped off one end up at the other end, well, he's made a miraculous recovery. Gucci,
who was booked just a few moments ago. He's one of those, like many taking part in Copa America, who had a late call-up. His chance came when Manuel Peña decided that he wouldn't be able to take part. I think we can finally play some football again.
Absolutely, which is a pain. A shame, because Peña was based in Spain with Valladolid.
Returning the ball so that Costa Rica can resume with possession. Cordero switching it out to Berry. He's one of those who hasn't appeared in the final round of World Cup qualifiers. There's very much a chance for a number of this Costa Rican squad, bearing in mind the very good odds that you'll get on them going to Korea and Japan next year.
A little late challenge there.
One or two of those flying around tonight. Valdivieso searching out Botero here. Rivero is also available. Marin going across to cover for Costa Rica. Oops, tripping over his own feet. Covered well. Keeping the ball well at the moment, Bolivia. They need to find a little bit more purpose, a little bit more cut and thrust maybe going through, but they've strung a few passes together quite nicely.
Well, to their credit, I think the last 10 minutes is the best I've seen Bolivia play in the competition, but hold on, here's one shot.
Oh, great recovery. That was such a crucial one. Carvalho, the defender there for Bolivia, against Paulo, one shot. Wonderful ball over the top. Look at that.
Smash, and he came around behind him. He could see the danger. Lovely ball in over the top as well.
Berry's cross. Fonseca's header. Well, it was on target, but too close to the goalkeeper.
I think he was just too far out, and he couldn't generate enough power on it to force a better save from the goalkeeper.
Fonseca's been Costa Rica's top goal scorer in World Cup qualifying so far. This is Botero swinging it across. Danger, of course, when Botero goes out wide is it leaves Suarez on his own in the middle, and if the three centre-backs are with him, he's going to be outnumbered. Yeah, but with the three centre-backs, the space is on the two flanks, and that's why Botero, and also previously Ribeiro, was getting a lot of space down the right-hand side. And again, three centre-backs here, and we've seen an awful lot of Harold Wallace here. Wallace looking for the deep one towards Fonseca, back towards Wanchop! Surely a goal! Must be! Yes! Eventually! Like a heavyweight boxer jabbing away, Paulo Wanchop finally delivers the left hook, the knockout blow to Bolivia, and Costa Rica take the lead.
Well, it's a combination again, the front three. Harold Wallace has crossed deep to the far post. Fonseca climbing at the far post and knocking it down into Wanchop's path. He struggled to get it over the line. There was a challenge coming in there. I thought he had lost the opportunity. Marcelo Carvalho makes the initial challenge, but he scrambles it somehow over the line. And I think we needed a goal. Not too sure about the goalkeeper, though. He's thrown himself out, Carlos Arias, and got nowhere near it. That'll be disappointing, conceding a goal, Steve, so close to half-time.
Paulo Wanchop's third of the tournament so far. He really is one of the players in this Copa America to have shone brightly so far. And he may have stumbled and looked a little bit awkward, but again he manages to deliver the goods for Costa Rica.
Yeah, he's up at the top there with the rest of the top goal scorer. Montesinos there with 3 goals, although one of them's a little bit debatable. Montesinos, certainly the 2 he scored in the initial game against Ecuador were excellent. But one chop's been superb.
Teeing it up here, and the shot, I think that's Valdivieso. And that one's well off target. Now, just have a look at this, because that's Justiniano back there on the line. Well, is that an own goal?
Well, I've got to give it to...
You've got to give it to one chop, haven't you?
It's almost over the line, but again, Carvalho makes the challenge here. He turns and pirouettes, and then it's, for me, Arias makes it easy for him. If he stays on his line, I think he could have possibly saved that. But from this angle, he toe pokes it, Paulo one chop. Wow, it's almost over the line before the defender makes contact on it.
Carvalho, the defender, on the line.
No, I think Carvalho was the first one who went down. I think it looked like Jagucci. One.
Well, half-time, and Costa Rica won up that goal right at the end of the first period, scored by Paulo one chop. It's Bolivia 0, Costa Rica 1.
Si repite Uruguay, si repite el mismo marcador que Costa Rica, disputaría con los costarricenses la primera posición en un sorteo, pero si gana por un gol más que Costa Rica, entonces los líderes serán los uruguayos. Vemos la desesperación de Bolivia, la desesperación de Carvalho en el momento en el que Guanchope de esa manera, al final, desde el suelo, mete la pierna derecha con la punta del pie, lo justito para empujar el balón adentro. Gol de Costa Rica 1, Bolivia 0. Estaremos con todos ustedes ya en la segunda parte desde Medellín. Hasta ahora. Seguimos, señores, desde el estadio Atanasio Girardot en Medellín. Estamos en el descanso del partido que enfrenta a las selecciones de Costa Rica y de Bolivia. Con el marcador de 1-0 gana Costa Rica después del gol que ha conseguido Guanchope, pues en el último minuto de juego de la primera parte, aprovechando una indecisión de la defensa y también su habilidad y su actual estado de gracia para marcar goles, porque estaba ya en el suelo, metió el pie ahí como pudo. Y Guanchope, el delantero costarricense, ha marcado el gol de su equipo. Es el único que ha marcado goles en su equipo, que lleva 3 en el torneo, y los 3 los ha conseguido el todavía jugador del Manchester City. Es el que anotó el gol de la victoria frente a Honduras, el 1-0, y el que empató contra Uruguay 1-1. Hoy están ganándole a Bolivia 1-0 y gol a gol. Costa Rica ahora mismo se ha encaramado el primer puesto del grupo C, pero con los uruguayos, que tienen un partido menos, el que deben jugar después, a continuación de este, frente a Honduras. Ya está el trío arbitral, como pueden ver ahí al fondo en el terreno de juego. Ahí está el venezolano Luis Solórzano, pero todavía no han vuelto ni los jugadores de Costa Rica ni tampoco los de la selección de Bolivia. Aquí en este gol prácticamente confirma en la última plaza del grupo, porque ahora ya no son 4, ahora son 5 los goles que necesita Bolivia para conseguir la clasificación como uno de los mejores terceros. Tendría que esperar todavía lo que sucediera en el partido siguiente. De ahí lo difícil que está la situación para el conjunto boliviano. Vamos a ver si Costa Rica se anima, si despliega algo más del juego ofensivo que hemos podido ver en los partidos anteriores, sobre todo el que nos enseñó contra Uruguay, que es tal vez donde los costarricenses han realizado su mejor fútbol. Costa Rica que está volviendo ya al terreno de juego por el lado izquierdo, mientras que por la parte derecha ya los tienen ustedes en sus pantallas a los jugadores de la selección de Bolivia. Bolivia con camiseta de color blanco, pantalón verde. La selección de Costa Rica con su camiseta de color rojo y pantalón azul. Y va a haber un cambio en el equipo boliviano. Porque parece que se ha ido fuera del terreno de juego Colque.
Welcome back to Medellin, where the two teams just preparing for the second half. We already know 7 of the 8 quarter-finalists, of course. The only tie we know for sure is Chile against Mexico. 7 teams through: Colombia, Chile, Brazil, Mexico, Uruguay and Costa Rica. Peru have also qualified as one of the best teams in third. Honduras need a point tonight to be the 8th team in the quarter-finals. But if they lose, well, it looks as if Ecuador are going to snatch the final berth. With Costa Rica leading 1-0 here, surely Bolivia aren't going to come back from this.
I don't think so, Steve. I'll just be pleased for Bolivia if they could score a goal. And they showed signs of it in the last 10 minutes of the first half. But they have to improve.
Bolivia in the white shirts and green shorts, kicking from left to right in this second half. Costa Rica with the three centre-backs of Drummond, Marin and Arias. Wallace down the right, Berry on the left, the three in midfield, Centeno, Gomez and Cordero, with Fonseca and Wanchop in attack. And here Bolivia with the first chance to test that Costa Rican defence, although frankly that delivery was a bit disappointing.
Certainly was. It's bread and butter for Ricardo Gonzalez in the Costa Rica goal.
Use of the arm by Wanchop. Bolivia with Valdez, Higuchi and Carvalho as the three centre-backs, but a change on the left with Alvarez, who's featured in the other matches, replacing Colque, who took a bit of a bashing in that first half. Ribeiro operating down the right. Valdivieso, Gutierrez, Justiniano in the middle. Botero and Suarez in attack. That's knocked away for a Bolivian corner, and they have started brightly in this second half. Botero there, the number 9. Top scorer in the domestic league in Bolivia recently. Gonzalez, the third choice goalkeeper for Costa Rica, getting his chance tonight. Lonis rested and Morgan injured. He's gone back to San Jose with a knee injury. He would have been the natural deputy for Lonis.
Well, some positive play, we've got to say, from Bolivia, but they've got to turn that into goals. Although it's encouraging for them, Steve, as I said, the last 10 minutes of the first half and this opening period here is the best I've seen, positive-wise, it's the best I've seen Bolivia.
Well, they've brought on Alvarez in this second half. See what difference it makes to them. This is Valdez. Valdivieso. This is Suarez. Botero. Oh, a waste. Again, the approach play so promising.
It's the final third, you know, the final ball into the box. Just lets him down. He knows he's got to do better than that, Botero. He's found himself in great space on the right-hand side. He needed to put a telling ball into the box. And that was what was failing. Here comes Costa Rica on the counter-attack, and it's this man again, Harold Wallace.
He's been playing in the Mexican second division before he went back home, Harold Wallace. And he's a real veteran in this Costa Rican lineup. Gerry chasing back here for Costa Rica. Bolivia having lost 1-0 to Uruguay and 2-0 to Honduras. Still looking for their first goal at the Copa. Paulo Wanchop in possession. 3 for him now. Joint top scorer with Montesinos. And that's beautifully done by Gomez. Into the box for Gomez and Costa Rica! Onto the bar by the goalkeeper. Fonseca turns it goalwards. Can they get it at the third attempt? They can't. Cordero with the final effort.
That's fantastic play. Lovely first-time ball wide on this left-hand side from Paulo Wanchop, which started it all off. And then he's got it. We've already said he's got a fantastic left foot. Ronald Gomez, he cracks one, hits the crossbar. It falls kindly then for Fonseca, and he's unfortunate. It's cleared off the line. Just super play from Costa Rica. Look at it from this angle again. Does the keeper get a hand to it? Maybe he does. Push it under the bar. Carlos Arias.
Oh, fantastic play by Costa Rica, who lead 1-0 through Paulo Wanchop. So a free kick here for Bolivia. number 69 in the world now, down from 66 in the latest world rankings. Viezo, Gutierrez, maybe favourites to have a pop from this sort of range. Lots of organisation for Gonzalez. It's an awkward one that took a difficult bounce.
It did, just shot up, and again you can see that's a feature. Roger Suarez and Botero, both of them following up the shot, looking for any rebound. Long way out, you've got to say, and you expect the goalkeeper to save this. There's a good shot there of the follow-up.
Rodero was closing in as well on goalkeeper Gonzalez. Rodero losing out to Berry. Now Gomez, man who has just hit the woodwork. Paulo, one shot back for Gomez. Delightful stuff.
You got to say, Steve, they play some very attractive football, open and attractive football, which is good entertainment, and I think they're full value for qualifying at the top of their group, which is what they look like they ought to do.
Of course, it's Costa Rica and the United States who top the CONCACAF qualifying group at the moment. Gutierrez has been one of Bolivia's most threatening players. He had a couple of shots from distance in the first half. In the end, he'll look to get forward in this second period too. They're in a collision with Arias, Robert Arias, that is, the Costa Rican defender. Viezo just orchestrating things here. Can Bolivia get an equaliser? Different routine. The snapshot skewed. Flags up, offside.
Certainly was. When the ball was knocked square, that Costa Rican defence just moved up 5 yards, left two of them, and we just see it from this angle. 1, 2, offside. Botero was one of them.
Good organisation by the Costa Rican defenders.
Yeah, they've looked an organised side. I still don't feel they're the best side in the competition, but certainly deserve to go through to the next stages. Oh, to all credit as well for them. And this man here, Paulo Wanchop, sitting on 3 goals, joint top goal scorer in the competition, which again is super.
How about that for skill from Raldez under pressure from Wanchop. Wanchop again in the air. Cordero. And again. Berry. Chance for Bolivia to counter. Telegraph that a little bit. Costa Rica, we mentioned the World Cup qualification. They've won 4 of their World Cup qualification matches. Puts them in pole position for Korea and Japan next year. Their only defeat came against the USA in Kansas City in April. And here, Suarez, who's come into the Bolivian side tonight, Roger Suarez. There's one Bolivia at corner. Botero at the near post and almost swinging in underneath the crossbar.
I don't know if we get a chance to look at it again, but it's disappointing for me that Bolivia only had 2 players when they took the corner kick, 2 players in the penalty area and a third arriving. That is disappointing, and I think that's where I feel Bolivia have let themselves down negative in the attacking side of it.
I think that's a bit of a clue, Gerry, isn't it, as to why they haven't scored yet in this competition.
I think it does give you an indication, doesn't it?
Like every team in this tournament, they're technically very gifted at times, and they do have some good individual talent out there as well, but it's not just about individual talent, it's stringing it together and it's working effectively as a unit.
Absolutely, and goals are what win you games. Great skill from Wanchop.
If Costa Rica do make it to the World Cup finals next year, it'll be only their 2nd appearance in the final stages. And the other time they qualified was back in 1990 under Bora Milutinovic. Cordero's chip. Wanchop had to check his run there for fear of being offside.
He did. The Bolivian defence holding a very tight line at the back, pushing outside the penalty area and Some good play from them, the sweeping movement, there's good movement as well.
Suarez linking up well, Ribeiro providing the extra man.
What a challenge that was from Marin, the captain. Superb.
We had one of those in the first half from Arias, just in the nick of time to take it off the toes of Suarez. This is Wallace. Off goes Fonseca. Shadowed by Carvalho. Played at their own tempo. They wait for the right opportunity to find a killer pass into the danger zone, and well, here they've got two potentially waiting, three now. But,
I think he settled for the corner in the end. There was two of them in front of him. He was under a lot of pressure. Clever little play, just knocks it against the legs of the defender and wins a corner kick, and an opportunity then to get the big guns up. Marin, Drummond, Arias, and of course Paulo Wanchop.
There's Gomez being watched by Carvalho. Centeno to take the corner then for Costa Rica. Cordero jostling in the middle. Gomez with the header.
Similar to the header in the first half of Fonseca, he got underneath it and headed it over the crossbar. Couldn't really get above the ball and head it down.
Gomez, one of just 4 players in the Costa Rica team, in the squad, to play their football abroad. He plays with Crete. Wanchop, of course, with Manchester City. 2 players not in the starting 11. Medford with Necaxa and Parks with the team in Guadalajara in Mexico.
Guadalajara is the old club that Ozzy Ardiles was the manager of.
We've seen a number of the players who play their club football with UAG, as they know. This is Gomez. He was looking for Barry to have been further advanced than that.
It's actually a decent ball, but Barry stopped his run.
Coach waving his players on.
He's telling them further.
Absolutely.
Longer.
Barry's throw. And it is a long throw.
See why? He knew he knew he could throw it longer than that, and that's why he was telling him to throw, to push on further down the pitch.
Sometimes coaches do know best.
Yeah.
A number of these Costa Rican players played in the Copa in '97, and when you look at the way that their youth teams have been performing on the world stage, Costa Rica have done brilliantly well in the last, I don't know, half a dozen years or so. Yeah, they've got a little bit of defending to do, and Marin makes an important clearance. Ribeiro available here for Bolivia, though, who can be quite a tricky little customer. And he's forward again, looking for the return again. Costa Rica needing to be alert to the threat of Ribeiro down that right flank, and Wanchop at the other end.
Oh, that's good.
Another miraculous turn at times. He seems to juggle his way out of positions that he has no right to get out of.
He's such a big awkward customer. His first touch there was brilliant. He was being fouled, but he still managed to control and turn in one movement. And as he went to accelerate, the defender pulled him back, and the referee waited to see if he had an advantage and then gave the free kick, which is smashing referee from Luis Solorzano.
We've seen that a number of times from the officials in this tournament. They have allowed little incidents like that to go just for the extra second or two. And it's enabled them to make sure that if there was an advantage to be played, it has been taken.
Absolutely, you want to see the game being played and not too many stoppages.
There goes Roger Suarez. Tucked away by Wallace. Gutierrez, for a moment, thought about a long-range shot once again, but he hesitated, and instead Bolivia have more promising options here. Straight against Drummond. Valdez, the youngster in the Bolivian squad. Justiniano for Ribeiro. 2 to get round. And Gerry does his job very well indeed.
Certainly does. Both these wing-backs, Berry and Wallace, both drop back deep, support the defenders, Arias on one side and Drummond on the other side, and it's really tough to get past them. And you know, the coach, to be fair to him, Alexander Guimaraes, has got them very well organised, Steve. It's a shame from Bolivia's point of view, because some of their play, their approach play is pretty good. It's just the lack of cutting edge in that final third.
No, it's been mentioned before, but this Costa Rican team thrown together really with about 5 days notice as replacements for Canada as a result of the turmoil that went on before the tournament, and the coach himself was on holiday in Spain. I don't know how the family would have reacted to that being dragged off the beaches, but never mind.
They were all on holiday in Spain. There was quite a few of them. Well, I mean, it was a surprise. At one stage I thought the tournament was off. It's been off and on 2 or 3 times, but it's been totally incident free. It's been fantastic, the response, the football, the quality of the football, with a lot of players who are not, you know, really familiar to the European people who would look for the likes of Rivaldo's and Roberto Carlos's and what have you. And I think we're going to see another substitution from Costa Rica this time.
Looks as if Stephen Bryce is preparing to come on, who was a very awkward customer, likes to play just behind the front two, really. He drifts across midfield and pretty like Gomez in that regard. Just on the security issue, Gerry, I was picking up on a couple of things today, and there's a bit of contrast actually in the crime levels in the cities and the countryside just at the moment. Crime is actually 35% down in the 3 main cities whilst the Copa America has been going on, which is a very positive sign. And here's a first touch for Bryce, and what an impression! How about that? His first touch, he's been on less than a minute, and the 23-year-old goal-scoring midfielder puts the game beyond any doubt whatsoever. What a great take, what a deadly finish.
Fantastic, and what a great substitution, and all credit to Alexander Guimaraes for putting him on. Well, he's only on 20 seconds, and that is an emphatic finish. Bottom left-hand corner, no chance for the goalkeeper, and he's full of running, this lad. He's sure he plays just behind the front two. He looks like he wants to get in front of everybody here. He races clear, and it's a super finish.
Well, I tell you, this is the coffee-growing capital of Colombia, and I think Bolivia have just been decaffeinated.
Absolutely.
But this lad is a real talent. He was a really exciting player in the first match that Costa Rica played against Honduras. He was a constant threat in that one. And what about that for a piece of really clinical finishing? Off go Bolivia. Their Copa America's over, they're playing for pride. Away by Marin. Costa Rica, I'm sure they'll want to keep their goals conceded record intact. Clipped in by Ribeiro. And let's remind you once again that the team that finishes second in this group will face Brazil in the quarter-finals. So, of course, with Honduras coming up against Uruguay a little bit later on, the incentive for Costa Rica is undoubtedly there. If they finish top, they avoid Brazil.
Absolutely, and I think everybody wants to avoid Brazil. Even though people are saying it's a weakened Brazil, it's still a very good Brazil side, and we saw that last night. Got a shirt pulling there, yeah, but
Bryce on the right there, but Wallace racing through the middle was being held. Here's another chance to see that strike from Bryce. Instinctive, wasn't it?
It was, but he wanted to get in there. He must have got to get forward, and he's full of running, coming off the bench, wants to show what he can do. And Stephen Bryce can certainly do it all right. It was a great strike.
He's quite a live wire. Slipped by Wanchop in the middle. Well, a hit and hope from Bolivia. They need to do better than that, because Costa Rica's back three has been very well organised. Bryce again, trying to just toe poke it through for Wanchop. Suarez. And suddenly Costa Rica have gone to sleep. Drummond's left him. And my goodness me, that's the best chance that Bolivia have created.
Well, he's got to do better, Roger Suarez. And I wanted to say 5 minutes ago, Steve, some of their approach play has been great for Bolivia, but their finishing's let them down. They lack a cutting edge, and they've had probably as many chances as Costa Rica, but they haven't tested the goalkeeper enough, and that was a glaring miss.
The stadium actually holds about 52,000, as you'll have seen. It's nowhere near full. One shot, guiding it on. And here's Bryce once more to win a corner. I did in fact though give 2,000 tickets to some kids from Antioquia, which is the region around Medellin. And they having the chance to see some of these chances.
He's got to hit the target, no matter what angle you look at it from. I think Roger Suarez will know he must hit the target.
Costa Rica then with the corner. Luciano keeping an eye on Bryce. He's come up from the back typically. But, they've conceded possession a little bit too easily. Marine challenging. Here he is. Wallace. Up over there on the right-hand side rather than Wallace. Costa Rica now full of confidence.
Certainly are. The game's over. They've won the game. They know 2-0 up. It's sort of taking the sting out of it from Bolivia's point of view.
Almost out as far as Jervis Drummond. Being put under pressure. In fact, Bolivia given the advantage there, given the free kick.
Well, still playing for a little bit of pride, Bolivia, and you can see here it's Botero fighting for this ball. I suppose if they could score a goal, that would be something.
Having a pretty good go. Nearly right on cue, Gerry. Gutierrez again.
Well, he's had 3 or 4 shots from long distance, and that one on his left side. But once again, Steve, they don't hit the target.
That's the thing about them, really. They've deceived in a lot of ways. Bryce certainly hasn't. Very effective contribution immediately. Yaguchi just a little bit over elaborate. One shot, one touch to control, 2 touches, nearly 3.
A free kick has been given, but for a big lad, he has a super touch. Just look at this here. He lifts it over one, tries to lift it over the other, and it's clever defending, we've got to say, from Yaguchi. Gets his body in and prevents one shot getting around the other side, and eventually it's hooked away. But he's a handful, isn't he?
Well, Manchester City fans may well be watching this and hoping that he can reproduce that sort of form for Manchester City.
The tricks to bounce back, and I think they'll be hoping to bounce back. Well, I don't think the coach is overly impressed. Carlos Aragonés.
I don't think he is, and I wonder just how much longer he'll be in the job.
I think we'd have to say, honestly, not too long, Steve.
They were in trouble for having too many officials on the bench the other day. They lost a couple of points in their fair play conduct. Oh, that's a great cross! That really was an enticing delivery from the right flank. Jervis Drummond, the Costa Rican defender. It was whipped in by Valdivieso. What a fantastic cross that was. The goalkeeper was not prepared to come out and try and claim it.
It's the best free kick of the game, without a shadow of a doubt. Deserved better.
Valdivieso on the goal line. Alvarez coming in as well. Fisted away by Gonzalez. One shot, good hold-up play. Bolivia with a man down. Costa Rica continue the break. They've got 3 in the middle here. Great chance for number 3. It's Paulo Wanchop, and there you go. Goal number 3 for Paulo Wanchop. What a wonderful tournament he's having, and what a deadly break Costa Rica. His second of the match, Costa Rica's third.
Well, he started the movement off. He held it up on the halfway line. Strong, good first touch, knocked it wide, got into the box, and now with 4 goals, he is the outright top goal scorer in the competition. Gotta say, another good delivery from Harold Wallace. He's been a good foil for him on his right hand side, put in a good cross deep to the far post, but look at the defending. 1, 2, 3 red Costa Rican shirts at the far post, and a good downward header from Paulo Wanchop.
Well, again, credit to Costa Rica. They weren't tempted to push beyond those Bolivian defenders. They all stayed onside despite the depth in numbers. And Wanchop's header back across the goalkeeper always makes it more difficult.
Yes, and downward as well. That's the key to a good striker. Headed down, headed back across goal, and the keeper's got no chance.
Costa Rica flying, Bolivia in trouble. And less than 20 minutes of Bolivia's Copa America to go. It's a free kick for the foul on Cordero.
I think it's in danger of turning into a rout, Steve. Now their confidence must be at an all-time low. Here's another substitution. They can afford to do that now. They're taking off the top man, Paulo Wanchop, giving him a little bit of a breather.
I was saying earlier, Gerry, the coach was very anxious. In fact, he was quite keen that Wanchop didn't even start tonight, but Wanchop was insistent that he played
because of the yellow card, and he doesn't want him obviously missing the quarter-final, but he's done his part tonight. Fans have certainly enjoyed his goals.
And this man, Solis, Mauricio Solis, the number 8, is a natural midfielder. I wouldn't be surprised if Bryce pushes up a little bit more now. Fonseca on the end of this. He's got away from his man. He's come for the... He went for the chip. He went for the glory.
When you're 3-0 up and there's only 20 minutes to go, you can do that sort of thing. Is he onside? He is.
Suarez can't get past Marin. I suppose the only downside for Paulo Wanchop is that he's missed out on a possible hat-trick.
I don't think he'll worry too much about that. I mean, if he picked up a yellow card in the last 20 minutes, I'm sure he would have kicked himself. Not that he looked like he was going to, but you never know in this game. Oh, that's good play. Sure, good body strength.
Fonseca's cross.
That's as far as it went. And there, we're going to see again Wallace's cross deep to the far post. I gotta say, the Bolivian defending's been poor. You know, when you see 3 red shirts all queuing up, it made up Harold Wallace's mind for him. All he had to do was dink it far post, and on the end of it was Paulo Wanchop.
Bolivia trying to come back at Costa Rica. At least get a goal on the score sheet, if nothing else.
Only one man going for the cross again in the box, and they're unwilling, and you can see the coach, he's going crazy, Carlos Aragones. The final ball into the box has let them down, and players getting on the end of the crosses has also let them down. And they don't have, if they had a Paulo Wanchop playing up front for Bolivia, they'd probably have scored a few goals in the tournament. But he looks totally at home, Alexander Guimaraes.
Well, Costa Rica have already guaranteed their place in the quarter-finals, as have Uruguay. Honduras, if they can get a point later on tonight, will join Uruguay and Costa Rica in the final 8. That's coming up a little bit later on tonight. And it's now between Honduras and Ecuador for that best third-placed spot that's still up for grabs. Peru have grabbed one of them. The quarter-finals taking place on Sunday and Monday. Semis on Wednesday and Thursday. The final in Bogota on Sunday week, 29th. Make a note. Delicate ball played forward. Marin is there covering for Costa Rica.
He's different class at the back, Marin. His experience, his cover play. He seems to be aware of all of the threats in every situation, and certainly shown great leadership qualities at the back, hasn't he?
Well, he has, and when you bear in mind they're missing Parks and Martinez, who've comprised the back 3 along with Marin for the rest of this tournament so far, you suspect that this isn't the choice, the first choice at least, of coach Guimaraes. Fonseca just holding it up. Valdez knocks it away.
It's good body strength. Fonseca twice he's turned the defender on the touchline and won them a throw in here. But it's basically incidental now, Steve, with 15 minutes to go. The game's over for Bolivia. They're trying to keep the scoreline down, and Costa Rica determined to try and get a fourth.
Absolutely, for Bolivia, it's about respectability now. Solis and Bryce and Solis. What a crucial intervention that was, but the shot driven in and just whiskers wide there from Costa Rica as they look for that elusive fourth goal.
If Bolivia keep defending the way they are, Steve, it won't be elusive for too long.
Absolutely, yeah. There's another incentive apart from trying to win this tournament. The winner of the tournament goes into the Confederations Cup as well. Bolivia going for the top corner. What a great try and an excellent save from Gonzalez.
Well, he was in danger of going to sleep at the back, Ricardo Gonzalez, but that was a super piece of goalkeeping. You can see it's a clever little dink here by Valdivieso, and that's superb. That is a superb save, and for once they've tested the goalkeeper.
Well, he's the third choice keeper for Costa Rica, but he's come up trumps there. It was a really fabulous strike by Valdivieso. He was guilty of that chance in the first half where he missed out, but that was a really clean hit. On the trip by Suarez.
He said he's dived.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't disagree with him either.
He did seem to go down a little bit early. Let's have a look.
He's encouraging it. He's looking for any
There
sort
was
of a
the
chance.
slightest contact, wasn't there?
He certainly played for it, no doubt about that.
Must have breathed in on him. Canada's replacements aren't doing so bad, are they?
Oh, good turn of pace there.
Just didn't have the physical strength, Steve Bryce.
He thought he should have had a free kick for obstruction. Referee trying to keep the game flowing though, which is smashing, it's good to see.
At the moment, you look at Costa Rica's record in this tournament. I wonder, can they go on to win it? Long way to go yet, of course, and some big teams to beat. Petero. Teeing one up potentially again, but surrounded by red shirts. Valdez. Ribeiro. Neatly done. Ribeiro again. Just slide rule one through there.
I think maybe one pass too many for them, Steve, but at the end of the day, the final balls always let them down.
This tournament's been going all the way since 1916. This is the 40th Copa America. Just the second time Costa Rica have been involved. Central American country, of course. I wonder how long this man is going to be in a job. You can see the anxiety for him. He's absolutely livid. His team has let him down.
I think he knows he's going after the game. I think that's why the association, Bolivian association, said that they were going to make an announcement afterwards, and it's got to be the coach, unfortunately.
I have to question the timing of that announcement.
I think they were putting pressure on them to get a performance. I think they performed better in this game, but it shows you what happened. They've tried to be a little bit more adventurous, and they've had 3 goals put past them, which shows the sort of feelings they've got. Some good build-up play from Bolivia, but at the end of the day, in the final third, they've had no cutting edge. They've not scored any goals in the competition so far, and they don't deserve to go through to the next stages.
And can they get a goal? They've got 3 forward here of Bolivia, but Costa Rica again have got plenty to cover. The frustration setting in amongst the Bolivian players now.
It was Robert Arias who came back and covered on that occasion. I think you're right, it is frustration just setting in, Steve, but they're trying to see a face. Desperate to score a consolation goal. I actually hope they do score one, because that might take a bit of the rough edge off the result. Maybe put a smile on the coach's face.
Centeno. Bolivia. Costa Rica's under-20s have been at the World Youth Championships 95, 97, 99 and this year 2001. They've also got their under-17s through to the last stages of that tournament in Trinidad and Tobago. That's coming up in September. Solis, the number 8 for Costa Rica. He's a player who actually came over to England with Paulo Wanchop and had some trials with Derby. Centeno looking to thread it through here for Stephen Price, the two number 16s head-to-head. Geraldes given the referee's decision.
It's good defending from Geraldes. Didn't dive in, he couldn't afford to in the penalty area. Stephen Price trying to use his pace.
Arias timing that. Just the perfection. Botero bearing down on goal.
Yeah.
Not for the first time Arias has made a crucial interception here.
No room for error here. Just got his toe in front of Botero.
Gonzalez looking for the shutout. Gutierrez looking to swing over the corner here for Bolivia. Botero up there. Comfortably dealt with. Solis with the header away. Gutierrez. Delicate flick. Apart from Valdivieso on a couple of occasions, Costa Rica have managed to contain Bolivia pretty well.
They have. I mean, the two good shots in the first half, but both of them were from outside the area. It was Ribeiro hit one shot and Valdivieso hit the other one. But you know, Steve, they've disappointed throughout the competition, and no goals scored so far tells you its own story.
Botero, the Bolivian number 9. Also trying to cause one or two problems for Costa Rica, but they've dealt with everything pretty impressively so far. Fonseca's layoff. And towards Stephen Bryce, beautiful build-up. Fonseca!
Goal!
What a fabulous goal! Well, Fonseca really drives home the advantage for Costa Rica and puts in the nail in the coffin of Bolivia. Fonseca, who's top scorer in their World Cup qualification campaign, has scored an absolute beauty.
Absolutely fantastic. The movement, the passing, unbelievable. And what a fourth goal to score. Gotta say, it's the pick of the bunch for me. Super piece of play here, and he's deserved the goal, Fonseca. He's worked so hard, and he's had a couple of chances. He had one cleared off the line about 10-15 minutes ago, but there's no way the goalkeeper's going to save this one. Carlos Arias at full stretch, but the power and the pace finds the bottom corner. Just noticing the sign on the back of Fonseca's shirt, which is a message, and it said "Blessings to Colombia." Bendiciones para Colombia.
Well, we've got an incident here, and the card has been shown. It's actually Independence Day for Colombia tomorrow.
Well, there it is. Look at the power and the venom in that strike from Fonseca. And the movement again, I'd love to see the whole goal, because there was 4 or 5 great passes, smashing movement, great touch play. I think we're going to see the message.
Well, we might do if they allow it to roll on.
Yes.
Stephen Bryce quick to offer his congratulations. There's a connection actually between Bolivia and the Colombian Independence Day tomorrow, in that Simón Bolívar is the man who liberated Colombia, and Bolivar is one of the clubs in Bolivia from whom a number of these players come. You see the yellow card confirmed there.
Yeah, he made a rash challenge about 10 minutes ago, and I think he got away with it there, but on that occasion Roger Suarez was booked for another late challenge, and it's a frustration. They've just conceded the 4th goal. They haven't scored any goals themselves, and I think frustration has just caught up with them.
Game drawing to its inevitable conclusion, and there you see the message.
Bendiciones para Colombia, blessings for Colombia, which is a nice gesture.
We're very grateful to be here, and they're taking full advantage. Oh, lovely turn again, off the foot of the post. Fonseca once more.
Well, although Paulo one-chops off the park, this guy still shows great body strength and holds off the challenge from Marcelo Carvalho and hits a great strike with his left foot. The keeper was beaten and hit the foot of the post.
Well, they've been turning on the style, haven't they, Costa Rica? And it's been terrifically entertaining to watch. Off goes Fonseca again. It's away from Valdez, but Higuchi is there covering. I wonder how far Costa Rica will go into this tournament, having come in as the late replacements. Bolivia with a chance to maybe pull one back. Gonzalez quick off his line.
And it would only have been a consolation, Steve, but I think they'll take that at the moment. There's the strike, left foot, just starts to curl, but not enough, hits the bottom of the post.
Centeno. Wallace. Centeno and Wallace exchanging. It's goal kick.
I like Wallace on his right side. He's strong, he works tremendously hard up and down the line. He's had a good game.
Wonder if he'll get a look in the quarter-finals. Bolivian coach has had enough, I think.
I think he has had enough. I think he knows the writing's on the wall.
Drummond has played on that in that right wing-back role for Alexander Guimaraes. Whether Parks and Martinez will return for the quarter-finals over the weekend. It's good that he's got to competition for places at least. Onside here, Bolivia. Knocked away by Cordero.
Tell you what, Steve, even though they're 4-0 up, they still work tremendously hard, Costa Rica, getting back in numbers. There's a willingness about them, there's a confidence, they're enjoying their football. They certainly enjoy playing under Alexander Guimaraes. And as I say, it's going to take a good team to knock this side out of the competition. But then we've got, who's it, Uruguay next against Honduras, and Uruguay's got a fantastic record in the Copa America, along with Argentina, 14 wins each. They could still be a threat.
Two most successful sides in the tournament. Brazil with 6 wins to their credit. Now the cheers go up for every touch of the ball from Costa Rica. Exhibitionist stuff now. Wallace. Bryce making himself available. Wallace goes forward. Can he get there? Not quite. And they've just got a nick back to his goalkeeper.
Just a little bit too tight. He wanted a better pass than that from the substitute, but it's been a super performance from Costa Rica, we've got to say. And the last goal was just fantastic, a real pick of the bunch. And also we've got to remember they've got the top goal scorer in the competition, Paulo One-Chop.
They have indeed. One-Chop now on 4. And Costa Rica will, at least for the time being, go to the top of Group C with 7 points from their 3 matches. Colombia the only team with a 100% record. Just 1 minute of added time.
I think it's 1 minute too long for Carlos Aragones.
Puts the pressure on Uruguay to score goals if they're to avoid facing Brazil, but it's an emphatic win for Costa Rica, who remain unbeaten in their group, and they win emphatically against Bolivia, who go out of the tournament. 2 for one chop, the others from Bryce and Fonseca. Costa Rica win by 4-0.
Y Costa Rica tendrá que esperar al siguiente encuentro para saber quién es el primero de este grupo C. Marcaron 2 goles Guanchope, Chop, otro gol de Bryce, otro gol de Fonseca, los 4 tantos del conjunto costarricense. Cuando ahí vemos al portero de Costa Rica, González, rezando por la victoria. Es todo, señores. Nos despedimos de momento desde el Atanasio Girardot de Medellín, pero volveremos con todos ustedes. Será el comienzo de la segunda parte del partido entre Uruguay y Honduras, el encuentro que va a dar comienzo a las 3:15 de la madrugada en horario peninsular español. Es todo desde Medellín. Volvemos dentro de unos instantes. Hasta luego.